The mana pool is a crucial block that we will need early on in this mod and serves as the primary storage for mana. If we look at the block with the wand of the forest in hand, we can see how much it's filled, and below this bar, it also shows how the mana pool will behave if we throw in an item capable of holding mana. That is, whether it will drain mana from it or charge it, which can be changed again using this wand if we hold the sneak key and right-click. In the next topic, I'll show you how it works in practice. We'll fill it initially using a mana spreader, which will supply with mana, for example, using endoflames. If you want to know more about the mana spreader, you'll find a link to a detailed guide in the video description. There is also a second way to fill it, and that is by using an item capable of holding mana. This could be a band of mana or a mana tablet. Imagine such an item as a bucket that you want to fill with water from one well and then pour into another. So let's set up another mana pool, which will be empty. Now we want to fill the band of mana with mana from the first mana pool. We use the wand of the forest to set the correct mode and then throw the item into the pool. Now let's go to the second pool that we want to fill. We check that it is set correctly and throw the item into it again, thus transferring the mana from one pool to the other. So, one of the main purposes of mana pools is to supply other things with mana. For example, functional flowers will start working if placed within 10 blocks of a mana pool with mana. The same applies to the mana spreader if placed exactly in the first of the cross blocks from the mana pool. Then, we can use it to transport mana to another mana pool. However, we can also use mana pools to transform items. If we hold an item in our hand and approach the pool, we will see, based on this icon, whether the item is ready to be thrown in for transformation. It's always necessary to have enough mana in the pool. The mod offers us a total of 3 types of mana pools, namely the Classic, Diluted Mana Pool, and Fabulous Mana Pool. The Fabulous Mana Pool is purely for decorative or marking purposes, otherwise it functions the same as the Classic Mana Pool. Then, between the Mana Pool and Diluted Mana Pool, there is a difference in production costs, where the diluted type is half the cost. This type also has 100 times lower capacity, so instead of a capacity of 1,000,000 units, it only has 10,000. This makes it suitable for testing purposes, as even with a lower amount of mana, we can see a difference when looking at its bar. Also, thanks to it, we can save mana because we won't always need a huge mana tank. Additionally, it helps us avoid unwanted loss if the block were to be broken. We can also dye mana pools using mystical petals. Simply take one in your hand and use it on the pool. To remove the chosen color, use a clay ball on it. Thanks for watching. If the video helped you, give us a like and subscribe.